Shocking information from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2018 revealed that for every dollar a white man makes, women consistently make less than that. This difference can vary by race, like for instance, white women make 79 cents for every dollar a white man makes, while black women make 62 cents and Hispanic or Latina women make only 54 cents. This disparity of income between the genders is what is known as the gender pay gap, which is a serious social issue. The first textbook topic relating to the gender pay gap is psychological responsibility in home management. These factors can often add more to women's schedules without the reward of making the same income as men for the same work. The second topic is masculine language, which can often make women feel unwelcome in the workplace. And lastly, the final topic is investment at work. Psychological responsibility in home management. What does this mean? According to our textbook, psychological responsibility is planning, remembering, and coordinating domestic activities. This ties into managing the home and things such as household chores. A source that supported this topic took a different approach by analyzing the effect of the employment gap on the gender pay gap. This study used a stratified random sampling technique to interview many families within urban communities of China. It tracked education, employment status, industry, occupation, monthly income, housing type, and more. The median age of participants ranged from 16 to 55 for women and 16 to 60 for men. This 5-year difference at the upper limit was set due to the fact that older women who are still able to work stop earlier to care for grandchildren or older parents. Just from the setup of the sampling process, a difference in household management comes into play. The study concluded that the smaller the female employment rate and the wider the gender gap in employment, then the larger the gender gap of pay. So, in other words, that means less women in the workforce equates to a larger pay gap. The gender pay gap can be influenced by factors such as childcare costs, economy status, education levels, and discrimination. The results demonstrated that if a household had a young child, then the woman was more likely to suffer from lack of participation in the workforce. This can lead to further discrimination practices. This study's solution was to increase the level of education for women and make childcare services available and affordable. Therefore, women can make up a greater proportion of the workforce to decrease the gender employment gap and therefore close the gender pay gap. An additional source that supported psychological responsibility in home management was a study focusing on the effect of family policies. This research used a random sampling method of individual-level data and country-level data to analyze family policies within 20 different advanced countries and its effect on the gender pay gap. A family policy can consist of parental leave benefits and/or publicly funded childcare. These programs are designed to help balance family roles along with work responsibilities. They help women join the workforce and have a greater chance of financial independence. On the flip side, family policies also have a negative effect on women and the gender pay gap. They can limit occupational opportunities, promote occupational segregation, and lower the ability to compete with men in the workforce, which also can lead to further discrimination. Since family policies can decrease the continuation of employment and work experience, the gender pay gap can actually increase as a result. Overall, the main conclusions from the study was that the wage structure in these 20 advanced countries is what decreased the gender pay gap instead of being due to the family policies. Masculine language. What does this mean? Our textbook defines it as language reflecting men's traditional interests and experiences. Typically, it can refer to sports, military life, or even sexual references. The supporting source is a literature review. It combined evidence and findings from other sources about inclusive language in the workplace. as one may expect language and communication that is respectful, appropriate, and inclusive within the workplace leads to the best results. By creating a welcoming environment, individuals within the company are not only happier, but also work better together. This can lead to more productivity and less divisions within a company or even industry. Masculine language can discourage women and make them feel unwelcome in the workplace. This source demonstrates how simply altering the language used at work to be more respectful can harbor an array of beneficial results. The next topic is investment. Regarding communication and this context, it means the giving of time, energy, thoughts, and feelings that cannot be given directly back to you. The first supporting source analyzes how work motivation can affect employees' investment and engagement at work. The study consisted of a questionnaire which assessed work status in the country they worked in. Job motivation and engagement can be influenced by internal as well as external factors. An intrinsic motivator could be the feeling of accomplishment when a task is complete, while an extrinsic motivator could be the income received from a job. These vary by individual, but when they are met, it leads to higher levels of motivation and investment to reach or continue to reach these goals. Drive to work and accomplishing goals can be influenced by factors such as social norms, peers, financial situations, etc. If employee needs are met and goals are attainable, then there is a greater proportion of work investment. This means that employees will be satisfied spending more time, effort, and energy on their work, which benefits the company. However, many women are not satisfied with the conditions, which makes it harder for women to desire to invest more into work, especially when they invest into aspects like household management, on average more than men. This study also demonstrated that there is no difference in productivity between genders. Therefore, this further exemplifies the inequality of not receiving the same compensation for the same productivity and investment levels. The second supporting source assessed the relationship between job satisfaction and work investment. This study consisted of a questionnaire that surveyed 410 employees' satisfaction levels and personal needs, as well as various investments into work. Additionally, there was a literature review of other supporting studies to better understand this relationship. From this, 5 statistical hypotheses were tested based on the collected information. The main ideas of these hypotheses were economic needs on satisfaction, workload, time spent at work, attitude towards work, and physical and mental states of the employee. Some of these factors are forms of investment into work. The results demonstrated that attitude towards work had the largest effect on satisfaction and investment. All of these factors outlined in the hypotheses showed a statistically significant relationship on satisfaction and investment, except for mental and physical condition. Yet, the study described that each of the factors highlighted in the hypotheses played a role in satisfaction with work. Enthusiasm for work leads to more productivity and drive at work, which is better for the individual as well as society. Therefore, companies should pay attention to how their employees would assess these factors to stay successful. Often, women are not getting their personal needs met, such as the same amount of pay for the same work as men in the workforce. This can make their financial situation more difficult, especially with an often larger workload at the same time spent at work. As a result, attitude towards work could decrease. These consequences can easily be avoided by giving the same benefits to women that men already receive. This helps not only women, but also the company's productivity and overall success. In conclusion, each of these factors, psychological responsibility and home management, masculine language, and investment, all contribute to the gender pay gap. Women often have more psychological responsibility and do more to manage the home than men, in addition to their work responsibilities. Having greater responsibilities in this regard than men, and still being paid less for the same work, demonstrates the significant inequality by the gender pay gap. It's important to analyze the effects of potential solutions. For instance, family policies had a good intention, but after further research, they also helped to widen the gap. Masculine language also enhances the gap by discrimination and making women feel like they are not welcome in the workforce. Simply changing the language to be respectful, appropriate, and inclusive can lead to beneficial results for not only women, but also the entire company or industry. Women invest the same amount of time, effort, and energy into work as men. There is no difference in productivity between genders, and yet the pay is not the same. This further reflects the injustice that must be reversed. There is nothing that prevents women from making the same amount as men, except for outdated and discriminatory practices in the labor industry. The gender pay gap is very fixable, from small changes in workplace language to larger societal and labor force changes. Hopefully, by implementing these, one day soon, all women of all races will be rewarded with the same payment as men for the same work. And here are my sources. Thank you.